wibbly wobbly, and we all fell down. Hi guys, it's me. It's Tiffany. You're here for Tiffany TV. I'm a little bit wild today. That's okay. You just take me as I am, or don't take me at all. That's all good. So my name is Tiffany Price Murray, also known as TiffanyDIRA, and I am a transformational life coach and channeler of divine source energy. And I am here to help you through your own healing and transmutation through the stories and lessons of my own life. So yeah, that's about me. How are you doing today? Today seems, feels, appears, is one of those days. It is definitely one of those days. I'm sure by the time you are watching this, the fate of the free will world will be decided by 350 human beings that occupy the landmass we call the United States of America, as it is election day. And there is no doubt in my mind that no matter what happens today, when we wake up tomorrow, the world is going to be a radically different place. So it's either going to be because they have elected the first African-American woman president of the United States of America, or it's because, well, we all know the alternative, that they voted in the other direction. And the fact is, I don't think that it matters either way. The world is going to be different based on this decision, for sure. So today's topic is about radical change, not just like little changes, little shifts, and like we talked about yesterday. I'm talking about radical change where you have moments in life, and I like to call these the set points, the moments in life that really determine a great chunk of time of your experience in life after that moment. Yeah, so that's what we're going to talk about today. Today is also a very special day because it is my fake anniversary. And you may be like, what the heck is a fake anniversary? Well, it is the day that I decided to marry the same person again for the second time. And not because we got divorced, but because I love him so much that I just thought it was a good idea to marry him again. And we traveled away and we went on this beautiful holiday and we shared it with 52 of our nearest and dearest friends and had my dream come true wedding, because the first time around, which is our true anniversary, which we call contract renewal day, doesn't happen for a few more months. But 9 years after our original wedding anniversary, we went and traveled away for our actual wedding, like our actual wedding celebration. And so today is that day, our fake anniversary. So Adam and I have lived through many, many, many versions of ourselves, of each other. This is 12 years of our fake anniversary, and it'll be 20 years for contract renewal day in February. And let's face it, emotional regulation through constantly fluctuating hormonal cycles can be a nightmare for women and the men around them. And doesn't matter, like, this has been happening since the beginning of time, that we have had to deal with these fluctuations in our hormone cycles. And it's kind of like being on a roller coaster with a blindfold on, because you never, ever, ever know what the fuck is going to happen next. And then just when we start getting it figured out and we start like sorting our life out, then we get to go through menopause. It's almost like a cruel joke. It's sort of like, actually, fuck you. You just figured it out, and now we're just going to change the game all over again. You know what? That's kind of like a metaphor for life, actually. It's kind of like a metaphor of like what is going on right now. Every time we just maybe start getting things sorted out a little bit, it's like somebody shakes the snow globe again and they go, nope, nope. Now we've got to see where all of the pieces are going to fall again. So I kind of feel like that's where we are today. it is one of those snow globe shaking days. And, you know, there are some days in life that really incite more change than others. Now, we know change is inevitable and that things are constantly moving and shifting, and that is definitely for our best. I do believe that it doesn't really matter what happens tomorrow. Like it really doesn't. I kind of believe that some things have already been set in motion, so it doesn't really matter which one of them gets elected. And I'm not personally invested either way. It doesn't really matter to me, but I do believe that we each have the power to choose by emitting a certain frequency of our own selves, which timeline we're going to be living on, even though that decision has been made. So there are definitely like lower vibration timelines in one aspect. So like, let's say Kamala wins, there's like a lower vibration timeline that will play out and a higher vibration timeline that will play out. Or let's say that Donald wins and there are lower vibration timelines that can play out and higher ones that can play out. And the only way that you decide which timeline you're on is based on your frequency of vibration. Like what is your resonant baseline vibration will determine how high up on the timeline scale that you are. So that's why it doesn't really affect me, because it doesn't matter who wins. I know that I have done so much work in the last 5 years to be resonating and vibrating on a higher and higher level, that those things sort of like don't really, that I come out of there unscathed. They don't really affect me as much because I can see them for the stories that they are. And I know them as the necessity for the catalyst of change that is upon us. And I'm talking about, like, we think radical change is happening tomorrow. I'm going to say that radical change over the next 10, 20, 30 years is going to be the greatest changes that we've ever seen on Earth yet. And if you don't believe me, let's just think about like the last 10 years, because people are like, oh, things take too long and everything. It's like, it takes so much time and effort, and there's so much red tape and bureaucracy and all of this stuff. But like, let's just think about the changes that we have experienced in the last 10 years. Okay, so we have like social justice movements for human rights and for women's rights and for LGBTQ people. There are like, people are advocating for mental health, for healing, for all of these like social justice movements that really nobody gave a flying fuck about before. Like, they literally didn't care. And now people are like, even BLM or any of these movements where people are, Me Too, all of them, people coming together in support of one another and saying, this is not okay. It is not okay to treat other people like this. Even if it's just like awareness of autism or awareness of like conditions, ADHD or BPD, or all of these like things that we have discovered are like things that we're overcoming. We are coming together to support one another and saying, it's okay, we can heal, we can do this, but you don't have to do it alone. We can do it together. Okay, then, the obvious one, technology. Holy shit. Like, how much has technology changed just in the last 10 years, let alone 20 years, let alone 30 years. Like, if I think about me being the only person in my grade 6 class, there was one other girl in my grade 6 class. I know I might be dating myself. That's quite a long time ago, but my grade 6 class was like 1992. We were the only 2 girls in our class that had computers in our house, because our parents both ran businesses. And so we had personal computers at home. I remember her saying this to me, calling me on the phone and saying, oh my gosh, I heard about this thing called the internet. It means that we can call each other on our computers and we can have a conversation like through our computers. Never mind like what we're doing right now, video chats or recording things or uploading it to the internet for everybody in the world to have access to. That is so huge. The level of communication and the level of connectivity and like access that we have to information and people all over the world. Like I can message my friend in England and have a video conference with her anytime that I want to. It's like we're in the next room together. You know what I mean? Like it's pretty incredible when you think about it. So then other advances, let's say environmental awareness, like they started off talking about climate change and talking about pollution and talking about recycling and talking about all of these things. There have been massive, massive changes, as well as like renewables and even just seeing solar power or wind generation, or these things are like common things now. You're not watching like Mac and Me, where California had a wind farm and it was, you know, the 80s where that was the only thing you ever saw it on. We have wind farms. I drive by them every single day on my way to the city. You know, it's like these ideas are spreading and they are becoming more accessible and they are becoming more mainstream. We are making so many incredible advances. Yeah, we have a long way to go, but I believe that the tipping point is what's causing this to have like this cascading effect where it's like a few people have been pushing for this, and then all of a sudden you get to the tipping point, and then it's just like a cascade of all of these ideas coming to be just the way that we live and how we are. Also, think about what COVID-19 did for people and how it really changed the face of education and it changed the face of the workplace. You think of how many people don't actually need offices anymore, that people are able to work remotely. They can be anywhere that they want to be in the world. They can be moving. They can be flexible as long as they have an internet connection and they have a computer or phone, that you can basically do your work anywhere. You could do it from a beach in Thailand. That's my plan. That is my plan. Anyway, what I'm saying is change is inevitable. That is for sure. There are just some changes that are impacting more than others. And I do believe that tomorrow, when we wake up and we all see what has happened in with the leader of the free world, which is the United States of America, it will definitely change how the rest of the world moves forward from that point on. Now, I watched this really amazing thing again. I referenced it yesterday. It's a conversation with Matthias DiStefano and Aubrey Marcus, and they are at a Fit for Service festival that they're hosting. It looks like Sedona, also bucket list for me. I will be there. I will be in Sedona. I will definitely be where I can see Matthias speak in person. And I would love to go to Arcadia and Fit for Service Festival someday. I'm just putting that hot shits bucket list done. Okay. So Matthias said something really interesting, and he was talking about like the next call and about how it's possible that somebody somewhere out there is going to interfere with the trajectory of our life experience. That they're going to say, no, bad idea. You can't do this. You shouldn't push the button. Don't make other people really angry and then cause really big conflicts. Let's just cool our jets here. And it has something to do with a comet or something to do with something coming close enough to the earth that it disrupts our magnetic field or something like that. Anyway, he was saying that this is happening in 4 years from now, that we have 4 years to determine and decide how we want to be as a society moving forward. Now, I find this really ironic because it does line up with the 4 years of the presidential reign. And I think it may be really determined by who is in power, but that's fine. That is separate from you because you still have the choice that you can make the choice to behave in whatever way that you feel is right for you and your life, independent of anyone else, even your family, even your community, even your country, even anything. You are a sovereign being that is able to make choices for yourself that will also direct the trajectory of your own experience. So, when we think about this 4 years, I have a belief that just like the 4 seasons that happen every year, so we have winter, we have spring, we have summer, and we have fall. And it really kind of starts in spring to me. My year starts in the spring. That if we are on a 4-year cycle, I also believe that there are years that are spring, years that are summer, years that are fall, and years that are winter. I believe that the year that we are in right now, 2024, is a winter year, and that next year, 2025, is actually going to be a spring year. So if you think about the fact that he is saying that we only have 4 years to determine how we want to move forward before this next call, and that this call will decide whether somebody is going to intervene or interject and change the trajectory of the human race or not, that we have 4 years. Now, some people might be like, oh my God, we only have 4 years. Who cares? I'm just going to be paralyzed and not do anything. Like, what's the point anyway? We only have 4 years. Or you could be asking yourself, oh my gosh, I have 4 years to live the best possible life that I can possibly live ever. What am I going to do in 4 years? Who do I want to be? How do I want to show up? What do I want to create? What do I want to give back to the world? What do I want to do? Bucket list, hot shits. Who do I want to be? What do I want to, how do I want to make people feel? Okay, because this is it. Like, even if we only have 4 years, it doesn't mean it's the end. There is no end. At the end of 4 years, who's to fucking say what anything, like the call, the anything, comets, floods, doesn't matter. Like, this is all sort of a game anyway. And even at the end, if we don't exist and the next race comes to take over the earth and they think that they can do a better job than the human race, and they're like, oh, too bad, you guys are out, we're in now. We all go back into the pool of energy and we all get to do it all over again in a whole new way. It doesn't mean it's the end. It just means it's the end of this game for us, maybe, but that we continue on and that life keeps going. Life is literally never ending. It is eternal. It is infinite. There is nothing that can stop energy. Energy just changes form, and it keeps moving and it keeps changing, and we are part of that energy. So the fact is, how do you want to show up? I'm so curious. I want to know, if you only have 4 years left, which I'm not saying, I'm not like saying apocalyptic, like don't go and do anything crazy and anything irrational. I'm just saying, if you knew you only had 4 years left, 4 seasons, you have 1 whole year, okay, that is a spring next year, where you can create and birth and make all things new and claim anything that you want and put anything that you want out into the world that will determine and decide, based on your vibration, whether you choose to do it in love or choose to do it in fear, how the next 3 years following that will be for you. What is it that you want to do? How do you want to make people feel? What do you want to project out in the world? I know for me, I want to make people feel so loved and so blessed and so abundant and so happy and so joyful. I just want everyone to feel so grateful for the life that they have and the opportunities that they have here in spite of whatever is going on around you, because I cannot guarantee that it's going to be perfect or that it's going to be easy. There could be chaos and there could be destruction and there could be all kinds of things that are completely out of our control, except for that one thing, how we show up. Man, Viktor Frankl, he was seriously onto something. Okay, this is the last thing I'm going to stop on, and then I'm going to do a little channel and we'll see what Divine has to say about it all. We'll see what Divine has to say. I watched this show called Ancient Apocalypse. If you haven't watched it yet, it's with Graham Hancock. That guy is a legend. He's so amazing. He wrote this book called Fingerprints of the Gods. He talks about how the story that we have been told about history and about humanity and about civilization and about like intelligent civilizations is actually kind of bullshit, and that we don't have the complete story. We don't really have any idea what has gone on, but that the proof that they have been finding does not line up with the story that we have been told. So Ancient Apocalypse, the Americas, which is season 2, is exploring these ideas and things that they've been finding to kind of piece together a new story of what is possible or what might have been, in an effort to just expand our horizons in understanding that, you know, this isn't it. This isn't all of it, really. So he said something that really intrigued me, and I think it kind of goes in line with all of this. He said, what they are doing is they're finding things from 14,000 years ago that are giving them signs or indications of the way that life was then, of how the people were, about what they did together. Like you think about the Moai in Easter Island, that those things, those monolithic, megalithic, like beautiful, incredible carvings, what did they say about Rapa Nui? And what did they say about the people that lived in that place, or what were they used for? They're just trying to paint a picture. They're trying to build a story. So what the question I have for you is, if this is it, and in 4 years we're all gone, kapoop, and then there is a new race and something happens, and in 14,000 years from now, there is another race or beings that are finding things from us, left over from us, what story do you think that they will tell based on what they find? What do you think it's going to be? I'm just going to leave you with that, because I have a lot of ideas and I don't know if it's going to be good. I'd like to believe it's good. Are they going to find our metal buildings? Are they going to find the glass and plastic? Are they going to find all of the plastic bottles in the bottom of the ocean? Are they going to be able to decipher all of the things we have in data? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that love, how could they find love? How could they find the love that we share with one another, I wonder? How can they find love? Okay, well, I love you. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Call to action. You know, like, comment, subscribe, that whole thing. But I'm also going to say your call to action today is going to be, in spite of anything that happens tomorrow, no matter who is chosen as the leader of the free world tomorrow, which has probably already happened if you're watching this, I want you to imagine, no matter what the outcome is, whether it is something that you wanted or didn't want, and whether you are disappointed or you are afraid, or whether you are where the outcome was not what you hoped for, I want you to ask yourself how you can move forward from a place of love instead of a place of fear. I want you to ask yourself how it is that you can imagine the more beautiful world that we know is possible, and that you can then give out into that world the most beautiful things that you can imagine, and all the love that is inside of your heart, so that in 14,000 years from now, if somebody finds this crystal that I hold every time I do my channel in this room, that maybe it will be impossible for them not to feel the love and the joy and the excitement and the gratitude that I feel every single time I hold it. That's it. Okay, channel. Oh. I call on divine to be known to me. I call on divine to be known to me. I am divine. We are one. I call on the vibration of oneness to be known to me. I call on the vibration of oneness to be known to me. I call on the vibration of oneness to be known to me. And what we would say is that the story and events that will come to be in the following days are irrelevant. They are not for you to become attached to. They are simply for you to witness in knowing that all is necessary as a catalyst for change. That all that is happening is a reflection of the vibration of the collective of humanity in this moment. That all that will come to pass is for the purpose of oneness to be known on earth. And that all stories and all timelines will lead to this. There is nothing that can stop this tide. There is nothing that can halt this momentum. That all indications otherwise are simply stories in separate timelines that will converge at one point or another to become one. The purpose in this time is not for further separation. It is for integration. It is for assimilation. It is for contemplation. It is for compression and contraction. It is for each and every one of you to be known as us, to be known as the divinity that resides within each one of you. It is for the purpose of knowing your light. It is for knowing the truth of all. We are grateful. We give thanks. We are one. Amazing. Thank you. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Have a great day. Ciao for now.